everyone, I'm Dara. Thanks for clicking on my video. Today I'm going to work on mending this pair of jeans for my daughter. So if you'd like to see what I'm going to do, keep watching and I'll show you.
Okay, so what we have here is a pair of jeans that really don't have a lot of life left in them, but they're comfortable and my daughter wants to keep wearing them. So they've worn out in the predictable place at the inner thigh. But the last time I mended a pair of jeans like this, I did it with a machine, and I thought I'm going to do this one by hand because, you know, maybe someone doesn't have a machine and they would still like to keep their jeans going. So one of the big challenges if you're not a sewer and you want to mend, like patch a hole, is where do I get fabric? So depending upon where your hole is and how much of one there is, you can get fabric from a few places on a pair of jeans. So let's talk about that. In here, it almost doesn't matter what color. So if you want to, you can use this fabric right here. If you want to get a piece of matching denim, this won't be exactly the same, but it'll be close. So you're going to sacrifice this pocket and you're going to cut this fabric in here. You've got a very big piece there to work with. And then after you cut your fabric, you just stitch your pocket closed. It can be by hand. You just follow the stitching line. And then you've got a hole there, but it won't show. And you've got a piece of denim to work with. But in here, you can use almost anything because it's not going to show. And if you're someone that doesn't have a bunch of scraps, what I think most people have, especially most women, is a pair of undies in their drawer that they don't like anymore. So this is a pair of undies made of stretch cotton, is the ideal fabric because it's comfortable against the skin and it doesn't fray. So I'm going to be using this stretch cotton. It's not a pair of undies, it's left over from my t-shirt quilt, but that's going to be just enough to do there. So let's get started. I'm also going to be using this thread. It's actually embroidery floss. Last month, my nearby fabric store closed down, so I no longer have a place that I can just pop in and buy thread. Our Walmart's here has a small selection of sewing notions, but typically it's only black and white thread. So I made a trip to the dollar store to see what they have, and there is in our dollar store a few options. And also a lot of times you can get embroidery floss at the craft store if you have one near you. So there are some options at the dollar store and I'm going to show them to you right now. Okay, let's figure out how big of a patch we need. So we don't need it to be this long, but this width is not bad. It goes almost to the inner seam and it covers a fair bit of the hole. So I'm going to just give myself a little mark there. And I think this will be a good size too. Okay, So I would like a straighter edge there. Got 2 marks here. I think it's this one. Okay, 2 patches. Pants are turned inside out. Okay, here's my embroidery floss. I'm going to use half of it. So I'm going to split my strands into 3 and 3. The hardest part about the next part is not sewing the pants closed. So what I'm using here is a bottle of distilled water. Anything that's heavy and that's going to stay still for you is going to work. A book, anything. Or anything that's not made of fabric, so you don't, because you don't want to accidentally sew your jeans to something else either. But for today, I'm going to borrow my bottle of distilled water. It's plastic underneath, so it's not gonna, and it's nice and heavy, so it's not gonna move. Okay, I've switched to a heavy spray can to see, because I was having trouble with that angle. So let's see if this is going to work out a bit better for me. Okay, got one direction done, and this is what it looks like from the outside of the jeans. So, you know, we're down to almost nothing there. So because of that, I'm gonna go back and forth this way too. About doing a little bit more right there where it's in the worst shape. So let me do that. Okay, I'm all done my patches, and here's what they look like from the outside. And here's what they look like from the inside. So, you know, a bit chewed up, but nevertheless, I think they will hold. Even though they look really bumpy, they feel really soft. They'll be soft against the skin with the combination of the t-shirt fabric and the embroidery floss. It's a very soft thing. Okay, so here's my mending job, and it's been a couple of weeks since I mended them, and I noticed that my daughter is not wearing them. So I asked her to let me give it another try. And to be fair, this does have a bit of a bumpy texture. Even though it is not visible at all when they're being worn, it does look a little messy. So I think the next best thing then is to actually just do a patch here. So let's test out some options. So this is the leftover t-shirt that I used to do the interior patch. And this is a scrap from my quilt that I made for my friend, my blue and gray quilt. That blends a bit better. This is another scrap from that quilt. And then, as much as I don't want to work with my denim scraps, what about this piece? So here's a faded piece from when I made that boot mat. So I think the denim is the best so far. And I think that one is the best. So I want to take out this stitching. Okay, so I'm using this glass bowl here to help me keep that part of the jeans flat. And I'm going to mark the size of my patch that I need, or I'm going to mark the inner size. It's actually, my hole is almost too big, bigger than my bowl here. But anyway, just to get a rough idea. So as we know, denim frays. So I gotta figure out a way to keep this and the jeans from fraying. So I'm gonna do a bit of a seam allowance. And it's so thick, this piece. Even though it's a good color match, it's really like, it's like good old-fashioned Levi's denim. Okay, so I've got my patch, and I'm going to make an attempt to delay the fraying by running a stitch, just a straight running stitch around the outside. Stitch, and now I'm going to go blanket stitch around too, and it's not going to hold the fraying forever, but it'll hold it for a while. That's all you can really expect. And this light gray thread is very fine and almost invisible, so it's going to take me a while. I don't even know if you can see it. I can barely see it, so I can't see how it's going to show in the camera. Okay, I'll keep going with that off camera. Okay, so I finished my blanket stitch, and you can kind of see it there. That's gonna hold this patch for a while, not that long. Okay, so I think this is the best side. I don't know. Let's see what the, yeah, I think this is the best side. All right, I think I'm gonna base this guy on first. So let's see how it goes on top of this bowl. here's my patch, and here's what it looks like from inside the jeans. And here's the other one that I did first. And honestly, this one does look neater, but I still think it's just as visible as this, just in a different way. And this was really fast, and this took quite a long time. So you can decide which one you want to do, and that's how I patched my daughter's jeans.
Okay, that's another pair of jeans saved for a little while from landfill or from my pile of scrap denim. I hope you found my video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.